Hey guys, have you seen these before? 5 to the power of negative 2, 2 to the power of negative 4, 10 to the power of negative 3. What do you notice? We have a negative indice, a negative power, negative 2 here, negative 4, negative 3. When we're working with indices, we can also have negatives, but there is a way to write them as well. We can write them in their negative indice form, or we can also write them in fraction form. How? Watch this. 5 to the negative 2. Very simple. What we do, we write 5 to the 2. What happens to the negative? It transforms. It changes. It becomes 1 over. So 1 over 5 to the power of 2. 1 over 5 to the power of 2, which is the same as 1 over 25. 5 times 5, 5 to the power of 2 is 25. So the negative, it changes, it transforms and becomes 1 over. Same thing here. 2 to the power of negative 4. 2 to the power of 4. The negative becomes 1 over. It transforms. So our basic answer, 2 to the power of 4, 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is 16. 1 over 16. So this one, how are we going to write it? We know 10 to the power of 3, and the negative becomes 1 over. 1 divided by 10 to the power of 3. 10 to the power of 3 is 10 times 10 times 10, which is 1,000. 1 over 1,000. Now let's change fractions back to negative indices. We have 1/3. We know we can write it in another way. The 3 is there. And we know 1 over, in reality, transforms and becomes negative. Negative 1. Because there's a 1 there, it's invisible. 3 to the power of 1 is just a 3. So negative is the 1 over, it transforms, becomes negative, and 3 to the power of negative 1. Same here. 1 over 17. What are we going to do? We're going to write it as 17. We know there's an invisible 1 here, power of 1. We know that 1 over is negative, and the 1, 17 over, or 17 to the negative 1. Here we have 1 over 6 to the power of 2. 6 to the power of 2. And we know 1 over means negative. So 6 to the power of negative 2. This is how we work with negative indices. Now we're going to use negative indices in algebraic terms. Let's see how we're going to work them out as well. In algebra, we also see negative indices, like these here. X to the power of negative 4, y to the power of negative 6, m to the power of negative 3. We write them in the normal way as we did with the numbers. Let's see how. We write them in the fraction. So x to the power of negative 4. So we got x and the 4. And the negative transforms and becomes a 1 over. 1 over x to the power of 4. Let's do this one. How are we going to do it? Y to the power of 6. The negative becomes 1 over y to the power of 6. This one here, m to the power of negative 3. M to the power of 3. The negative is 1 over m to the power of 3. Again, let's do some more examples. 8x to the power of negative 5. What is to the power of negative 5? Is it the 8 or is it the x or is it both? Well, we know it is only the x. So 8x is actually 8 times x. So we write it like this. 8 times x power of negative 5, we know x 5, and the negative becomes 1 over. So 8 times 1 over x power of 5. And we know 8 is a whole number. It is really 8 over 1. So we multiply to make it simpler. 8 times 1 is 8. and 1 times x power of 5 is just x to the power of 5. 8 over x power of 5, that is the answer. This one, we follow the same process. 7x power of negative 2. Well, we know what is the power of negative 2? It is only the x. 7x means 7 times x. We know x is on the bottom and the squared, and the negative is 1 over x squared. So 7 times 1, 7 over x squared, because we know the 7 is really over 1, it's a whole number. 7 times 1 is 7, 1 times x squared is x squared. Our answer is 7 over x squared. What about here? It says 2y all in brackets to the power of negative 3. Once again, the negative is 1 over. So everything is to the power of negative 3, which means our answer is going to look like this. 2y, everything to the power of 3. Negative is 1 over 2y all to the power of 3. So the negative transforms and becomes 1 over. So how do we simplify it further? We know that we can simplify this more. 1 over 2 cubed. 2 cubed, 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. Y to the power of 3 is y, because we know there's an invisible 1 here. Power to power, 1 times 3 is 3. Y to the power of 3. So our answer is 1 over 8y to the power of 3. It is pretty easy. Watch out for the negative. We know negative means 1 over, and this is how it's done. Whether it's normal numbers or in algebraic expressions, algebraic terms, we follow the same process.